Hi all you wonderful divers out there, welcome to Simply Scuba. Today I thought that I'd keep it simple and just type the word scuba into Google and answer those questions that popped up on Google. So starting with, do scuba divers sink? Hopefully, that's kind of the whole point of scuba diving, but actually both us and our equipment is surprisingly buoyant. It floats, the human body especially. Scuba divers have to wear lead weights to actually make us sink, otherwise we just bob on the surface like a cork. Especially in salt water, the human body is fairly buoyant, but when you then wear a wetsuit or especially a dry suit over the top, which is, well, I mean, wetsuits are just a foam material and dry suits maintain a constant layer of air, this bubble all over your body, we float a lot. That, and you take a nice lungful of gas and you're not going to get very far underwater unless you're wearing some kind of lead to help you get down. To be able to sink, we wear blocks of lead that make us sink, and to stop us from continuing to sink, we wear something that's called a BCD, which is basically a jacket that you can inflate a little bit underwater to fine-tune your buoyancy so that you neither float nor sink, and we can just control exactly where we are in the water. We always strive to be neutrally buoyant, so we have perfect positioning in the water, and that way we're never touching the bottom. That's a bit of a taboo for scuba divers. We don't like to touch things. But once we're diving, we aim to neither float nor sink, just only sink at the beginning of the dive so that we can get to actually see what's down there. Does diving hurt? No, only if you're doing it wrong or you drop your weight belt on your foot, that'll hurt. There are sometimes a few sensations that you might feel whilst you're diving. The first one is the ache of trying to pick up all of your gear all at once out of the water. Your gear is neutrally buoyant in the water, or at least you don't feel the weight of it in the water, but out of the water, yeah, remember to lift with your legs. But in the water, other than like the trickle of cold water down the back of the inside of your wetsuit, as you descend you may start to feel some pressure in your ears, similar to that sensation when you're on an aeroplane and the pressure changes. If you do feel some discomfort in your ears, then you just haven't been equalizing enough. If you're equalizing early and often, then you shouldn't feel anything at all, especially pain. If you do start to feel some kind of discomfort, then stop descending, tell your buddy that there's something wrong with your ears, and then ascend a little bit. Try to equalize again, but if that doesn't help, then just head back to the surface. If you continue downwards, it's only going to get worse and you're going to hurt yourself. But for most dives, no, there's no pain at all. We wouldn't do it if it hurt, basically. There are some circumstances where if you do something wrong, it can hurt, but you're taught about all of these and how to avoid them in your foundational course. So as long as you do everything correctly, no, scuba diving doesn't hurt. What happens if a diver ascends too quickly? You can hurt yourself. You've probably heard about the bends. We don't really use that term anymore. We tend to use decompression illness more nowadays, or decompression sickness. As you spend time underwater, the gas that we're breathing enters our body tissues, and because we're under a greater pressure underwater, we end up absorbing a bit more of that gas than we normally would do on the surface. And that's fine. Our body can absorb all of the gas it likes to a certain point. But as we ascend, that gas that's in our tissues needs to find a way out of our tissues. As we ascend slowly, the gases dissolved into our body want to get out, so it gets into our bloodstream and then it gets to our lungs, and we simply breathe it out as long as we're ascending nice and slowly. But if we ascend too quickly, then the pressure around us drops too quickly and the gases can expand inside of our tissues before they reach the bloodstream and we can breathe them out, and sometimes they can form bubbles. We do not want this, and this can be very dangerous depending on where the bubbles form in our body. This is why we wear dive computers that tell us if we're ascending too quickly. But in the unlikely event that you do ascend too quickly and you do end up getting hurt, you get a lovely trip to the local decompression chamber to help sort you out. What is apnea in diving? Apnea simply means without breathing, and in the diving community, it refers to the disciplines where you're basically diving whilst holding your breath. No scuba tank or cylinder or regulator, just holding your breath and swimming underwater, or at least being in the water. It's often called free diving, as well as there are just a whole bunch of different disciplines that range from holding onto a weighted sledge to get down as deep as possible, then grabbing hold of a lift bag to zoom you back up so that you can dive down as deeply as possible on a single breath and then zip back up as quickly as you can, to literally just laying face down on the surface of the water, usually in a swimming pool, to see how long you can hold your breath for. For most freedivers though, it's just about the freedom. Instead of wearing a ton of gear and equipment, it's just mask, fins, a float, maybe a snorkel, and just spending some time underwater. Spearfishing as well. There's a huge spearfishing community that free dive to catch their dinner, but apnea simply refers to diving underwater whilst holding your breath instead of diving with scuba equipment. And free diving gear is often quite different to scuba gear. The masks tend to be a lot smaller and the fins are much larger. What do scuba divers do underwater? All sorts. It's usually exploring beautiful underwater realms and enjoying the weightless buoyancy, because diving is really the closest thing to being in a weightless in space, in that kind of environment. You're unburdened by gravity, which is why scuba diving is often used as therapy for people with disabilities nowadays. But there are plenty of things to do both recreationally and professionally underwater. If you enjoy shipwrecks, there are just a whole bunch of them out there that you can enjoy and look at. Just see the marvel of how the underwater world changes and gradually deconstructs man-made engineering. If you've ever been to an aquarium, you can witness the same things in the wild in their natural environments. Professionally, you can do everything from teaching other people how to scuba dive, which is very rewarding. You can do research and conservation work, cleaning up local waterways as well. Treasure hunting, but that's not as exciting as it used to be back in the 80s or in Hollywood movies. But a lot of divers are helping people who have lost jewelry. They dropped it in the water and a scuba diver goes to help recover it for them, which is quite a nice thing for us to do. All the way to mapping and exploring underground caves and waterways. Basically anything that you can think of to do with underwater, we probably already do it. But as with the original scuba divers, it often appeals to explorers who want to go where few others have ever been. And that's it for this week. Thank you so very much for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel to help the channel grow, and head over to our website, simplyscuba.com. If you have any questions that you'd like me to discuss, then pop them down in the comments below and use the hashtag AskMark so that I can find it and filter it from the rest of the comments and then get back to it on the Friday show. Thank you for watching again, everybody, and of course, safe diving.